What time are you getting up? What different things do you consume in the morning? Are you having tea or coffee, or how does that morning routine look like?
Yeah, I am a big morning routine person, so I like to go to bed within a maybe a half hour to an hour window of the same time every night. And that might be, 10:30 or 11, probably not much later than 11. Usually get up around 7. So I try to have 8 to 8.5 hours sleep. If I get 9, I do not apologize for that. I'm a big fan of sleep and the restorative nature of sleep. When I get up, first thing I do is make a big cup of really strong coffee. I put whole cream in it and a tiny bit of sugar. And I set about to read a couple of papers in the more actual, real, physical newspapers. I just can't get into reading news on my phone. And try to figure out what's going on in the world and try to understand my role in it. From what's going on in the news. And then I do a couple of puzzles. I do New York Times crossword puzzle. I do Sudokus and Can-Cans and whatever, depending on what paper I'm reading and what part of the country I'm in, there's a lot of great puzzles. And so I don't ever spend more than, say, a half hour total on the puzzle part of it, but it's a kind of fun way for me to get my brain cranked up, first thing in the morning. Then I'll go do some work. I might write for a while. I might, answer emails, make some calls or whatever. Typically break around 10 or 10:30 and do my workout. If I'm in Miami, that might be a bike ride, again, on the beach. It might be a stand-up paddle session. Might be down in the gym. I'm very fortunate to have a great gym in our building. So it's awesome to just break, go down, do a 35-minute intense workout, stop, come back up and pick up where I left off. Work a little bit more, maybe have lunch typically around 1:30. I have my first meal. And then back to a little bit of work in the afternoon. Now, because I'm depending on what errands I have to run, maybe in the afternoon, I might do some walking there too. Then at my day, because of, again, how I've constructed my life right now, I do what I call fire and ice at the end of the day. So I'll do a 15-minute sauna. We have a spa in our building too. So I do a 15-minute sauna. And then I do anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes in a cold plunge, and just up to my neck in a cold plunge. And that's very sort of at the same time refreshing and relaxing to me. Leave the cold plunge, and now I try to play drums. I have a electronic drum kit in my apartment, in our condo in Miami. So I wear earbuds, and I can put some music on an iPad, and then I have full-on headphones that I put over the earbuds where the drum sound comes in. So I can be rocking out to Metallica, or Green Day or Petty, and all you can hear is pitta 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 with the drum pad. So I'm not upsetting anybody, any of my neighbors or anyone else. It's a really cool thing. So I just decided I wanted to learn how to play drums as one of my sort of lifetime bucket list things. So I do that for an hour, and then my wife and I either cook dinner together or we go out to dinner. And then I will watch a little bit of TV. I think television has never been better in terms of its program offerings, its TV show offerings. I guess you can't say program with TV anymore. And then go to bed. And it's a great lifestyle. I love it, and it's good routine, and I like to maintain that routine.
Sounds great. Yeah. I got a lot I want to get into within that. Let's talk about the fire and ice to start. So you have a sauna in the building. Is it an infrared sauna or a regular hot rock sauna?
Regular dry sauna, hot rock sauna. Yeah.
Nice. And then the cold plunge, is that something that's actually like built into the spa?
Yes. So the spa has men's and women's sides. So they're separated. So when my wife does hers, we can't do it together, but they each have a jacuzzi, a sauna, a steam room, and a cold plunge. So it's really and you know what I like the best about it. Don't tell anybody is that nobody uses it because it's such a the cold plunge is such a so foreign to most people, and the people who do use it go in for like 2 seconds. They jump in and they immediately scramble out, and they can't believe they just did that. And so it's very available to me to go in there and spend some time in the plunge. There's all sorts of research on the benefits of these, both the hormetic response to heat, for instance. So a lot of people would say, well, why don't you just do, the heat by itself and then do the plunge by itself on a different day. And there's a lot to be said for that. It's sort of on a side note, for instance, I don't think I would ever do a hard aerobic day with a hard lifting day. I mean, I want to separate those. I want the results of my aerobic day to stand alone and create the biochemical responses based on the signals that I produced to have the greatest effect on an aerobic day. And then if I'm in the gym and I'm lifting heavy on an anaerobic day, I don't want to mix those signals up. So I want to leave the body with just that and to repair the tissue based just on those signals. And you might even argue that that's a similar concept with this fire and ice, that if you're going to be doing a sauna, why don't you just do the sauna one day, just do the heat and let that be the signal that you're left with in terms of whatever the hormesis you're trying to create. And on another day, just do the cold for its anti-inflammatory effects and its other and its immunologic boosting effects. So that's a legitimate observation that you didn't even make. I predicted it, but it's interesting that I don't even do the plunge for the hormesis or for the anti-inflammatory effects as much as I do the plunge for the mind game that it is. I mean, just spending 4 or 5 minutes, sometimes more, in 48-degree water, trying to maintain breathing and not get freaked out and not get too cold that you overdo the hormetic effects of that. So I almost do it for the mind, the head game that it plays with me. And I started doing this years ago because when I grew up in Maine, I grew up in a small fishing village in Maine. I learned to swim in a saltwater pool that filled in with every high tide, and then emptied out. And so the water was always in the 50s. And it was horrible. I was a skinny little 10, 11, 12-year-old kid trying to learn how to swim at the YMCA. So I hated cold water my whole life. I hated it. After these swim lessons, I would shiver my ass off for like the whole day. When I had to retire from competition as a marathoner, and I elected to start training for triathlon, I had to learn how to swim again. And I learned in a public pool, which was 81 degrees. And I got to the point where I even hated getting into an 81-degree pool. It was like it was still 16 degrees colder than my body temperature. And so it wasn't until years later, when I'd long since retired from triathlons and long since retired from competition, and I just realized this is stupid. Like my aversion to cold water it's not serving me, and there's something there that I need to deal with. And so I started walking into my unheated pool in Malibu in the middle of winter. And so I'd go out at like 9 o'clock at night, and the pool temperature would be 52 or 46 or something like that. And I just walk in and stay as long as I could, and then get out. And typically I'd get out and get into a jacuzzi afterwards just to warm up. But that's kind of how I started doing this 10 years ago, just as kind of a mind game. And it became an interesting challenge to see, how long I could do it, and what thoughts were going through my head, and my, my breathing techniques. Did I need to breathe or not? And so that's kind of why I do it. It's For me, it's not about the supposed anti-inflammatory benefits or the brown fat benefits. It's more about just this sort of nice little space where I walk in, and the first thing I say is, it's not good or bad. It's just a sensation. And that can apply to a lot of things in life, I think.